r/AskReddit, what was your wittiest comeback that you're still proud of? Guy at college grabbing his crotch. You can't handle this. Unimpressed girl. You're totally right. I don't have a degree in microbiology. A friend of a friend was trying to low-key insult me, saying something along the lines of "your mom likes when I do that." My friend was not paying full attention and asked him, "Do you know Kajirstia's mom?" To which he smugly replied, "Oh yeah. I meet up with her frequently." My comeback, "I sure hope so. She's a psychiatrist." You shouldn't talk to me that way. Do you know who my father is? Me. Why, did your mother not tell you? To this day, it lives rent-free. I was a tenured professor, so this wasn't as brave as it might sound. At a faculty meeting, the dean responded to a comment I made by saying, "Damn it, professional, you plan to piss on my grave." No, John, I hate standing in long lines. I was at my dad's work with him when I was about 5-year-old and I used to have red hair as a child. One of my dad's co-workers looked at me and said, "What's up, Carrot Top?" I replied, "Fuck you, Carrot Tops are green." My dad didn't know whether to yell or laugh. "Uncle, you still using a pacifier?" 4-year-old me, who was indeed still using a pacifier. "You still smoking?" My friend muffled homo says, "What?" Me. Exactly. Roasted. At a hockey game, a fan of the opposing team gave me 50 cents and told me to get my teeth fixed. Later, while leaving the game, I ran into him again and he asked me if I got my teeth fixed yet. I told him no, I used it to get a blowjob from your mom. Stunned silence. Dad, I'm always right. Me, then why did you get a divorce? He laughed at it. It was a good burn. It's not the kindest thing I've ever said, but I'm still proud of it. One of my friends in high school started dating this total asshole of a guy, just an arrogant jerk. One thing about him though, one of his legs was shorter than the other, so he had to wear a special shoe with a lift on one of his feet. Our group of friends is all together and we're pointing out his flaws to her, to which my friend asks, "Well, why don't you think about walking a mile in his shoes?" Me, that'd be the most lopsided mile I've ever walked. She then slapped me in the face and walked away. She broke up with him about 2 weeks later and she apologized to me, saying that she had to slap me and walk away so she could go somewhere and laugh very hard. One time my mom was pretending to be annoyed with me and called me a son of a bitch. I just said, "So at least we agree on that." I still think of this as the peak of my Reddit experience. I was cross-examining a husband in a protection from abuse, restraining order, hearing, and one of the issues was his possession/use of guns. He was a Leo. The following exchange occurred. Me, how many guns do you currently own? Witness, I don't know. Me, you don't know how many guns you own? Witness, no. Do you know how many pairs of shoes you own? Me, 12, but I don't threaten people with them. Nothing further, Your Honor. Used against me. I'm from a small town and FB friends with a lot of people from my high school, including some of the teachers. One time someone had a thread about nightmares. I posted about my recurring nightmare of being in my HS chemistry class without have been in school for years and there's a final exam. My old chemistry teacher responded, "That's funny. My recurring nightmare is that you're in my class." The jerk store called, "They're running out of you." The guy didn't know what to say after that. Not me, but my buddy during his divorce when his ex was picking up her stuff from the house. I was there with some other people just as a buffer/witness to prevent any shenanigans. His wife wanted to keep their dog, which he didn't have a problem with, but she'd phrased the demand by insinuating he didn't care about the dog and that it loved her more. He said something along the lines of, "Oh please, the only reason that dog looks up to you is cause it sees how many bones you're catching. There was a GIF someone posted a while back of someone spraying a thick substance on a wall. A guy said something about stucco and someone else argued that it was cement instead of stucco. I chimed in with, "Hey, now let's not get stuck in semantics." Maybe not entirely a comeback, but I was pretty proud of that. Dad, what's the difference between a donkey, a burro, and an ass? Me, well, I've never called you a burro. I still use "I've heard worse from better" to this day. Was working part-time in a liquor store about 10 years ago. There was a daily customer who would come in and try to hit on the girls who worked there. One day I made him mad and he thought I was trying to cock-block him. So he's being a dick on his way out of the store and says, "Yeah, I bet your mother is real proud of you," to which I slapped back with, "She's definitely proud that I don't have a pint-a-day vodka habit." Was at a uni museum trip with my ex. As we sat in the lobby area, I guess the top of her G-string was showing above her ass. An old woman looked her and said angrily, "You should see yourself from behind." Without missing a beat I said, "You should see yourself from the front." She didn't know what to say. Her husband just lowered his head. Edit, a missed word. One coworker, hope you are not offended. Me, I would be, if I thought your opinion was relevant. There is a game called Rocket League that I play and it's basically car soccer, but all the cars have jet engines and can fly. There is a mechanic where you can hit the ball off the backboard and then score in the same motion, dubbed a double tap. The name I go by is a version of double tap, but it predates the game. Now, after beating a team 3-0, one of the other players was upset. He told me I wasn't living up to my name. I told him that was okay, because he did enough living up to his name for both of us. That player's name? 0-3. I was riding as a passenger in a college friend's car when he got a flat tire. He immediately started to call a towing service. I said, "Don't you have a spare?" He said, "Yeah, but I don't know how to jack it and get the nuts off." I simply said, "I'd offer to give you a helping hand, but it's probably better to call a pro for service." I was a waitress. During some downtime, the bartender and I were throwing food at each other. I accidentally hit him in the crotch with a slice of cucumber. He said he would sue me. I said, "You would have to take me to small claims court." I don't remember what led up to it, but was joking around with a coworker at my old job. "Coworker, you can't tell me what to do. You're not my real dad." Me, "No, but your mom calls me daddy." I'm still enjoying that witty comeback 6 years later. Not mine but my dad's. He was an immigrant to the US who spoke and read English fluently, and better than most native speakers, although with somewhat of an accent. He was summoned for jury duty and, during voir dire, one of the attorneys, who had been doing his best to piss everyone off during the proceedings including the judge and the jury pool, asks him, "Do you have any trouble understanding the English language?" "No, do you?" The judge allowed the general hilarity to carry on for a couple of minutes before quieting everyone down. Was in theater. In a previous play I was married to this one girl whose character had chronic back pains that were played for comedic effect. The next play, she was married to a black guy. She comes up to me the day the cast was posted and says, "Yeah, no, there's a reason I left you for a black guy," and everyone, rest of the cast, kinda goes, "Oh." Without missing a beat I came back with, "Yeah, and there's a reason you had back problems too," and everyone went, "Buh." She even gave me a little high five and said, "You win." We were always giving each other hell LOL. I didn't know the source at the time, but at a company party in like 1990 or 1991 a rather senior staff member, just below VP level, got sincerely drunk and fell in the pool fully dressed. He got out and was walking around with a towel around his waist. There was a young woman, friend of a coworker, playing pool in the pool room, and this guy flashes her. "Do you know what this is?" She squints at it and says, "Well, it looks like a penis, only smaller." There was a pause and the entire room fell out. Much later, decades, in fact, I was informed after telling this story that she copped the line from a Clint Eastwood movie. Pink Cadillac, I think. My sister and mom were always laughing at me being a server when I was a teen, cause I'm not a people person and can't fake niceness, so it was just a terrible fit for me. Fast forward 15 years later, we still laugh at you being a server. Sister, I laugh that you're still a server. Me. Not mine, but a friend made a savage one. Teacher, the bell doesn't dismiss you, I dismiss you. Student, is that so? If the bell doesn't dismiss me, it doesn't tell me when to show up. Teacher. Right before I quit my last job, one of the project managers was giving me a hard time. He was trying to make himself look all important to brown nose his way into upper management. Since I was a lead engineer, he wanted to flex on me and I wasn't having it. He'd tell me to do something, I'd warn him that it would be a mistake, he'd insist, I'd tell him to send it to me in the form of an email for traceability purposes. When an issue ensued, I'd forward the email back to him and say, perhaps you should listen to people who know more on the subject next time. He was just the icing on the cake of reasons why I was quitting, maybe only 2% or so of the reason. I put in my notice. On my third to last day, I overheard him lying to a few co-workers. He was blaming me for a problem he caused. I had enough. I printed out a handful of emails in which he directed me to make a major mistake, and my warning against it, highlighted a few lines, and taped them up on a wall in plain sight. He got all pissy, tore them down and marched over to me. You think this is funny? You think just because you're leaving you can pull a stunt like this? I ought to make them have you stay a few extra weeks. Too bad you can't, though, can you? Now, why don't you march into the bathroom, pound out an angry one, and think twice about trying to slander someone else over your own cowardly negligence? A few co-workers started laughing and had to leave the area. I didn't make friends on my way out the door. Kinda wish I had cranked that dial up to 11. I was way too kind. Bunch of us restaurant workers on break between lunch and dinner. Cook, I could go down on a woman for hours. Me, if you were going down on a woman for hours and she didn't hit you in the head because she was too sensitive, you're doing something wrong. Hot female waitress, laughs hysterically. I keep an Uno reverse card in my wallet for such occasions. Start of pandemic, my parents live on a golf course. Dude hit his ball right by their fence and I was talking to him. He said was trying to get out while keeping socially distant. I replied those type of shots should help him keep his distance. I was being catcalled walking on a street in NYC by some construction workers. Hey Red, come sit on my face. I have red hair, I replied. Why? Is your nose any bigger than your dick? And kept on walking. I was reviewing a slab table that had clear defects from sanding in it, pigtails. This usually happens when the shop doesn't pay for proper tools and dust extraction during sanding. The guy who did the sanding came up to me shouting, I've been doing this for 2 years, I know what I'm doing. Me, so you've been messing up client tables for 2 years. As I am autistic, so as a youngster I was easily mortified by people's ill will and clever but degrading choice of words over my points of view, etc., more than the average Joe. I remember somebody arguing against me something. I try to lay out my point of view of the topic at hand. The person says, quit trying to give me intelligent layouts, you can't do it. I said, what words can I find to explain a lowlife like you my point of view? And damn, I had an instant relief of the stress of the moment, and that ended the wasted time conversation. I didn't care if it affected him or not, but later on I overheard him complain to somebody that I called him a lowlife, as though he was butthurt. My sister explaining that she likes fish. Me, yeah, I heard it's good brain food, you're gonna need it. I know I've had plenty over the years, but this memory always sticks out. I was in 6th grade, and the song I'm on a Boat by The Lonely Island was pretty popular at the time, and this one kid in my table group was being extra annoying that day and trying to get everyone's attention, and we all just kept ignoring him. Anyways, at his last sheer attempt to get someone's attention, he turns to the girl beside me and asks, "Hey Abby, are you on a boat?" Because I'm on a boat, and before she could even reply I said yeah, and I hope that boat sinks, and I guess I made that comment louder than I thought because everyone heard and started laughing. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.